Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. You're here because you're interested in Taurus and Virgo compatibility, especially in a romantic relationship.
Right.
So we've got some great astrological analysis to break down for you today. Let's dive in.
Yeah, this is interesting because, on the surface, you've got two Earth signs, which you think would be great for practicality, shared values. But like with all good love stories, it's not always straightforward. There are some twists and turns we need to unpack here. And it all starts with that initial spark of attraction.
Okay, so let's talk about that. The analysis mentions Taurus being super sensual, ruled by Venus.
Right.
But then you have Virgo, who's a little more hesitant when it comes to that side of things. I'm already seeing potential for some fireworks.
Right.
And I don't mean the good kind.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine this Taurus wanting to embrace all of life's pleasures. Yeah. And they're really drawn to trying to help their Virgo partner kind of loosen up a little bit, embrace that side of themselves. And initially that might seem very romantic, like a hero trying to free their beloved from all these inhibitions.
Sure, in theory it sounds great. But we all know how well it goes when you try to convince a cat to, taking a bath. Good intentions, but reality can get messy.
Exactly. The perfect analogy. Because Virgo's analytical mind can really come to play here. And not always in a fun way.
Right.
They might start overthinking. They might start dissecting everything. And while Taurus is trying to set the mood, Virgo's over here mapping out worst-case scenarios in their head. Talk about a passion killer.
Yeah, it sounds like spontaneity isn't really Virgo's strong suit. Would you say that's accurate?
Not initially. No. And to understand why, we need to look at Virgo's opposite sign, which is Pisces.
Okay.
Now, opposite signs in astrology always have this really fascinating push and pull dynamic.
Interesting.
Pisces is all about dreams, intuition, going with the flow, where Virgo is grounded in logic analysis, needing that concrete evidence.
It's like Pisces is the free-spirited artist and Virgo is the meticulous accountant. Two totally different approaches to life.
You got it. And because of this opposition, Virgo might carry some of those Piscean fears with them.
Okay.
Pisces, being so trusting, can sometimes be vulnerable to deception. So Virgo overcompensates by being extra cautious and maybe even a little distrusting, especially when it comes to matters of the heart.
Wow, that opposition thing really adds a whole other layer to it, doesn't it? So we've got Taurus over here, the sensualist, maybe coming on a little strong.
Yeah.
And Virgo's building walls before they even know if there's anything to even worry about.
Right.
That's not exactly a recipe for love at first sight, is it?
You've hit the nail on the head. Early on, communication is essential.
Right.
Taurus needs to understand that Virgo's hesitation isn't anything personal.
Right.
It's really just that they need that sense of safety and trust first.
Yeah. And let's be real, that's not the worst thing to ask for in a relationship, is it?
Absolutely not. And that's where the strengths of this pairing really shine through, because when these two figure it out, they can build something really special.
Okay.
The analysis even highlights how their communication styles can become a strength once they get past those initial hurdles.
Because so far it sounds like they're speaking two completely different languages. Well, think about it this way. Virgo, with their analytical mind, can help Taurus think things through a little more carefully, not rush into things, maybe. And Taurus, being so grounded, can help Virgo get out of their head and into their body a little bit more.
So it's like they balance each other out in a way.
Exactly. And remember how we were talking about Virgo being drawn to logic and analysis?
Right.
That intellectualism is a huge turn-on for them. And Taurus is, grounded, thoughtful. Who better to spark those mental gymnastics than a Taurus?
I see the appeal. It's not just about the fireworks. It's more of a slow burn.
Right.
Appreciating each other's minds as much as, everything else.
Exactly. And let's not forget, both Taurus and Virgo, they crave stability, security, loyalty.
Right. They're not afraid of a little hard work. They find joy in the simple things.
Yeah.
They value honesty above all else. That's huge.
Yeah, that is a really solid foundation to build on. But even with those shared values, wouldn't there still be differences in how they approach things, like expressing affection or managing finances? I mean, no two people are exactly alike, right? Absolutely. Shared values are super important, but seeing how those actually play out in everyday life, that's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah, for sure. And the analysis actually points out a very classic Taurus-Virgo tension.
Okay.
How they approach pleasure and relaxation.
Okay.
Taurus, with that Venus influence, loves indulging in those sensory pleasures of life. So think cozy nights in delicious meals. Maybe a little splurging here and there.
Yeah, indulgence is like Taurus's middle name, right?
Yeah, exactly. But Virgo, on the other hand, they're all about that structured approach to well-being.
Okay.
They thrive on routine, healthy habits. And they might choose like a hike in nature over a decadent dessert.
Oh, I can see how that could cause some disagreements. It's the classic Netflix and chill versus let's go on an adventure
Yeah.
dilemma.
Yeah, you got it. And this is where compromise becomes super important for this pairing.
Right.
The good news is both signs are practical. They're solution-oriented.
Right.
The analysis actually suggests things like healthy cooking together.
Oh, that's a really good idea. So Taurus gets to be in the kitchen, being creative. It's indulging in those flavors and textures.
Right, and Virgo gets to experiment with all those nutritious ingredients, make sure everything's balanced and wholesome.
They can bond over their shared love of food, even if their definitions of good are a little bit different. This deep dive just keeps getting more and more interesting.
And there's one more little detail from the analysis that I think you'll find fascinating.
Okay.
Ready for this? Travel. Apparently, exploring the world together can be a major point of connection for Taurus and Virgo.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not what I would have expected, but
Yeah.
now that you mention it, it makes total sense.
Right.
Taurus gets to experience all those new cultures, try new cuisines, make those lasting memories through those sensory experiences.
And Virgo, the planner of the zodiac,
Mm.
can meticulously research the destinations,
Right.
create the perfect itinerary,
Right.
and just really satisfy that intellectual curiosity they have for all those different ways of life. That's a win-win for sure.
Yeah, totally. So it seems like with Taurus and Virgo, it boils down to understanding and appreciating those differences.
Exact.
Taurus can help Virgo loosen up a little, embrace spontaneity.
And Virgo can offer Taurus a healthy dose of being grounded. Encourage them to think things through. Find balance.
This has been so interesting. So to wrap things up for our listeners today, it seems like Taurus and Virgo have the potential for a very passionate, deeply fulfilling connection.
Absolutely.
But it takes effort, understanding, and a shared commitment to growth.
It really all comes down to this. Can a clear heart and a clear mind find that harmony together? Is this the recipe for a love that not only lasts but thrives? That's something to think about.
And hey, if you want to explore this even further, we can always do a deep dive on your individual birth charts another time.
That'll be fun.
Until then, happy stargazing.